Let's face it, there are countless brands out there that offer the same services or products as you do. That's just the reality. So the question is, how do you stand out? You do that by sharing your brand story and connecting with your audience on a deeper and more personal level. And guess where the best place to do that is? Yep, your About page. Hello, and welcome to the Copy Lab podcast, the marketing and business podcast that teaches you how to write better, sell more, and ignite your business, even if you suck at writing. I'm your host, Sarah Estes, entrepreneur, copywriter, marketing strategist, and founder of Copy Tiger, where I help change makers, disruptors, and dreamers get their message to the masses. Let's get started. Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of Copy Lab podcast. As always, I'm thrilled to be here with you. On this week's episode, we're diving deep into the art of crafting an absolutely irresistible about page for your website. The inspiration for this episode comes from the past couple weeks because I have written a few websites for my clients and it has been super fun to work on. And I have had the most fun working on about pages because that tends to be the place where most people who are writing their own website tend to get a little bit hung up. So I want to talk today about what makes a fantastic about page. And I want to give you the different strategies to create your own about page if you're working on your own website or you're going to be working on it in the future. You can just save this episode and come back to it later. After your homepage, the about page is arguably the most crucial supporting asset of your website. Why? Because today, audiences worldwide are looking for brands that they can personally connect with, brands that share their values. More so than ever, we are in a value-driven marketplace. So when people are looking for clothes or shoes or products or whatever, they want to look into your company and they want to see what you stand for. They want to know your story. They want to know all about your background. So about pages have become, in my opinion, a lot more powerful and a lot more important over the last 10 years. And that's why your about page is the golden ticket to answering the burning question, who are you really? Let's face it, there are countless brands out there that offer the same services or products as you do. That's just the reality. So the question is, how do you stand out? You do that by sharing your brand story and connecting with your audience on a deeper and more personal level. And guess where the best place to do that is? Yep, your about page. But here's the thing. Many businesses treat their about page as a total afterthought. So they either fill it with just kind of braggy claims that don't really resonate, or worse, stuff it with kind of corporate jargon that nobody really cares about, or just make it sound like a resume. Say it's a coach or a business owner, and they're just listing off their previous jobs and accomplishments in the same style as like a resume. And it just doesn't work. That's not actually what people are there to find out about you, which is why creating an about page that reads like a resume is a huge mistake. So whether you're in coaching, consulting, e-commerce, or any other industry, your about page is a golden opportunity. It's where your prospects can connect with your story, your vision, your mission, values, and everything that makes you, well, you. And if you're doing your website correctly, your homepage doesn't talk so much about you. So the about page is really where you're putting all that information. What should your homepage be about? It should be about your customers. Your homepage should be all about empathizing with your customer, feeling their pain, understanding what they're going through, and offering a solution to that. You want your customer to be the hero of your website. That is counterintuitive for a lot of people because a lot of people approach their website as if it's just a vehicle to promote themselves and to talk about how good they are and to talk about all their qualifications for doing what they do. But that's not really what people want when they go to a website. What people want is to know that you really get them and you're there to help them. That's the main thing you want to get across with your homepage and your landing pages and your services or product pages. So your about page is where you're going to switch from talking about your customer to actually talking about yourself and giving a narrative about your story. So how do you create an about page that resonates with people? Let's dive into some ways we can do that. First, decide if your about page is about You are not. Remember, it's written from a customer-centric place. So I want you to think about what aspects of your story might inspire or encourage your customers. So what might make them feel connected, safe, or trust you more? That's really what you want on your About page. Here are some approaches that I want you to consider. The first one is struggle and solution. So you can share a personal struggle that inspired your business or your product. So for instance, if a unique diet cleared up your health issues and led you to start a health food business, you could share that journey on your About page. Number 2 is an inspiring backstory. So you can share something intriguing about your past that ties into what you offer now. Like a photographer who first went on a safari in their 20s and was so moved by what they saw that they made capturing wildlife their nature's work. If you have some kind of story that really inspired why you do what you do, you could include that in the About page. A third framework is tales of street cred. So showcase your credibility. If you achieved some significant milestones and worked with renowned brands, you can flaunt that. That is not being too much of a resume type of About page. So if you can do that in a narrative way, in a cool way that connects with people, absolutely do that. The fourth framework is your big why. So, as Simon Sinek says, people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. So, share the core beliefs and values that drive your business. The fifth framework is to actually share a timeline of your life. So, not your whole entire life, of course, but your professional career or a particular section that makes the most sense. Or you can do it by decades and you can just talk about where, so if maybe you're the founder of a company or you're a solopreneur and you have a website, I've seen a lot of really cool timelines on people's About page that I really love because it kind of puts in perspective what all it took for them to get where they are now. So I also highly recommend thinking about doing a really simple timeline, and you don't want a ton of things on the timeline. I mean, I would say maybe 10 points on the timeline. So you might be jumping many years or decades in between those plot points, and that's okay. You're really just wanting to give people a sense of where you were in particular years in your life. Now, if you're feeling stuck, I want to give you some non-braggy structures for an About page that you can put into place immediately. So the simplest structure is what I call the bare bones structure. And so that means we're going to lead with the big W's, which is who you are, what you do, where you do it, and why you do it. If you can explain those 4 things, your About page is going to be very powerful. So an example of this would be, let's say you've got a coffee shop. We're going to call it Green Brew. So the who section would read something like this. We're Green Brew, founded by Alex Turner, a coffee enthusiast with a passion for sustainability. And then you would move on to the what. And the what section might sound like Green Brew is a sustainable coffee shop that serves ethically sourced organic coffee. And we pride ourselves on zero waste initiatives, offering reusable containers, and promoting eco-friendly practices. That is just going to round out so that people fully understand what the company is and what it does. Then you move on to the where. So this website might say, located in the heart of downtown Portland, our cozy coffee shop offers a serene environment for coffee lovers. Alex started Green Brew after a trip to South America where he witnessed the impact of unsustainable coffee farming on local communities and the environment. Moved by the experience, he decided to create a space where coffee lovers could enjoy their favorite brews without compromising the planet. So that is just a bare bones About page. You've got the who, what, where. coffee ethically sourced? That can be another one. And then the answer would be something like, absolutely. We pride ourselves on partnering with farmers who prioritize sustainable and ethical practices, ensuring that every bean is a product of care and respect. Something like that. And then you might have some questions like, what's the story behind the name Green Brew? If this thing really lights you up and you really like talking about the fun facts about you and your business. So with this one, you're going to create a list of facts about you and your business. So here's what that might look like using Green Brew as our example. So one of the facts might be, the idea for Green Brew sparked when Alex accidentally ordered a coffee in Spanish while trekking in South America. He got the best brew of his life. Fact number 2, our shop boasts a collection of over recycle our coffee grounds into natural fertilizers. Got a garden? Grab a bag on your way out. And so on. So you get the idea. So you can create all kinds of facts that really give the customer a sense of who you are, what you do, and what kind of personality your business has. So hopefully keeping those structures and frameworks in mind will help you write an incredible about page for yourself, or if you're a copywriter writing for a client, you can use some of these ways to spice up an about page. I have to admit, writing an impact or you might want to have a button that lets them see how they can work with you or book a call or whatever your CTA is throughout your website. All right, that's a wrap for today's episode. I hope you found these insights valuable, and just remember, your story matters and your about page is the absolute perfect place to share your authentic story. So until next time, if you want to keep getting more marketing tips, please hop over and join my weekly newsletter. You can get it at copytiger.com/newsletter.